When you hear the word yoga, what pops into your head? Probably a bunch of physical poses, right? But what if I told you one of its most powerful practices involves just looking? Today we're diving into something called Trataka, and trust me, what you think it is, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I mean, a lot of us have probably heard about this, right? Candle gazing. It's supposed to be good for your eyes. But is that it? Is that really all it is? You have to wonder. Did these ancient yogis put all this thought into a practice just to clean their eyes? Yeah, something tells me there's a whole lot more going on here.
Okay, so here's the real deal. This gets right to the heart of it. Trataka isn't just some simple exercise. Think of it more like a mind-training technology. And that's the key, right? It uses your eyes, your visual system, as a kind of lever to steady your mind. It's the crucial bridge that takes you from just preparing your body all the way to that state of deep meditative absorption they call dhyan.
So to really get why this is such a big deal, we've got to see where it fits in the grand scheme of things. This isn't some new age trend, It's a core piece of a really ancient system, a system designed to guide you into these incredibly deep states of meditation.
And this training arc, it's just so logical when you see it laid out like this. So classical Hatha Yoga, it gives you a roadmap. Step 1, physical purification. The shut karmas, you gotta get the body ready first. And the end goal, way over on the other side, that's contemplative depth, or dhyan. So, how do you get from A to B? Well, that's Trataka. It's the bridge. By steadying your senses, starting with your eyes, you're building the exact foundation you need for a steady mind.
Okay, so let's go straight to the source, the original blueprints. First, you've got the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It says, gaze at a mark until your eyes water. Pretty simple. And the payoff? It gets rid of eye diseases and shakes off that feeling of mental fog or dullness. Okay, cool. But then you look at the Geranda Samhita. Whoa, it takes things to a whole other level. It's the same method, gaze till you tear up, but look at the claims. It says this leads to Shambhavi Siddhi. That's a super deep state of meditation, and even divine sight. So you see the shift, right? It goes from just a physical cleanse to this profound training of your actual perception.
All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. This is where we see how a simple physical action becomes this incredibly powerful tool for training the mind.
The method itself is, well, it's just so simple and elegant. So step 1 is the steady gaze. You pick an object, maybe a candle flame, and you just fix your gaze on it. The trick is to not blink. Just let the tears naturally start to form. Then, step 2, you gently close your eyes. And this is where the magic happens. Step 3, you turn your attention inward. You're going to see this after image, right? A little glowing impression in your mind's eye. And your job is just to hold your focus on that inner light, just watching it as it shifts and eventually fades. That's the moment. That's you crossing the bridge from the outside world right into your own inner landscape.
Okay, really quick, but this is super important, a word on safety. You gotta remember, this is not a staring contest. We're going for steady focus, not painful strain. So if you feel any sharp pain or a bad headache starts to creep in, just stop immediately. Tearing up is natural. That's the signal to end the gaze. Burning pain is your body saying, hey, that's enough. And it goes without saying, if you have any serious eye conditions, just be extra cautious. Maybe talk to a pro.
So you hear these ancient texts making these huge claims, removes dullness, refines perception, and you might think, okay, sounds a little out there. But what's so amazing is that modern science is actually starting to back this stuff up.
So, the first big area where science and the ancient texts totally line up is cognitive function. Remember that old text promising to get rid of sloth and dullness? Well, it turns out modern research is putting some serious numbers behind that claim. And the results are pretty wild.
Okay, get this. This is from a controlled study in Frontiers in Psychology. After just one single session of Trataka, people showed real, measurable boosts in working memory, and spatial attention. After just one time. So what's going on here? Well, one idea is that by holding that unwavering gaze, you're basically telling the visual part of your brain to just quiet down. It cuts down on all that mental noise, which frees up your brain's resources to do other things better. It's a quantifiable upgrade for your brain's performance.
And it's not just about making our minds sharper. The research also shows Trataka can make us a whole lot calmer. It turns out that steadying your gaze is a ridiculously effective way to steady your entire nervous system.
So how does it work?
Well, think about it. By giving your attention one single stable thing to focus on, you're pretty much stopping your mind from jumping all over the place, from one worry to the next. In fact, one study, a randomized controlled trial, found that Trataka was way more effective at reducing anxiety in kids than other common relaxation techniques. It's just a really powerful, practical way to regulate your emotions.
And finally, let's bring this ancient practice right into our world, into the 21st century. Because for all of us who live in front of screens all day, this is a game changer. Science is showing that Trataka can give you real relief from that digital eye strain we all know so well.
And this is just so practical, right? They did a clinical trial with IT professionals. I mean, people whose entire job is staring at a screen. And they found that just a short Trataka practice significantly cut down on their feelings of visual strain and fatigue. So that original eye-cleansing claim from the old texts, it's totally validated, but for a modern problem that the ancient yogis couldn't have even dreamed of.
So, when we pull all of this together, everything from the ancient text to the modern science, a really clear picture starts to form. This practice, it was never just about your eyeballs. It's about training the very consciousness that's looking out through them.
And this, right here, this is the whole thing in a nutshell. It just perfectly sums it all up. Sure, Trataka cleans the windows of our perception, but its real job, its much deeper job, is to train the one who's looking through them. It might start with the physical, but its destination was always, always the mind.
So, as you can see, Trataka is so much more than a simple eye exercise. It's really a journey, a progressive path from steadying your senses to exploring the depths of your mind. It's a bridge from simply looking at something to clearly seeing the nature of your own consciousness. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to ponder, doesn't it? What could you see more clearly?